Okay, so thanks for coming in, Emma. Do you want to just introduce yourself and tell us why you're running?
My name is Emma Porter. I'm a final year joint honours student. I'm doing psychology and criminal justice. I'm running for this position of SU president this year because I feel that UL has played such a major role in defining who I am, as in terms of confidence and just personality and just all of the extra things I've been allowed to do apart from my education. I think that it's just been such a fantastic opportunity to come down and spend 4 years here, get to do all of these things and still get a very, very, very good education at the same time. And I'd love the opportunity to just give back, and I think that the role of SU president is something that I feel I'd be quite suited to, as in I'm motivated, hardworking, I'm innovative, and it's just something I'd really love to do, and I feel that I'd be a very good representative of the college.
I know that you've been involved in clubs and societies since your time in UL, so do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I came to UL originally to swim with High Performance Centre, and that was a fantastic opportunity, and I had to stop it. I just for academic commitments and other reasons I stopped training with them, and I joined the UL water polo then in the next semester, and I met some really interesting people and they were great crack, and then I met some more interesting people who were even better crack, and they were all into other things, and I was like, okay, well, water polo is brilliant, but let's see what else is out there. And I got into trampolining and parkour and eventually found my way into a kayak, and it's just been amazing, and I'm hoping to get a skydive in before the end of the final year.
So if you had been president this year, would you have done anything differently?
Would I have done anything? I think in terms of communication, I would like to think I'd have involved the student body more. In my personal opinion, I don't think the communication between the union and the student body has been particularly good this year. I feel that I would have made the class rep meetings mandatory for class reps, and I think those are two things that I would have definitely done differently.
So on the campaigns issue, what would you propose to go and do in order to improve that?
The campaigns issue, okay. The CSO, or the Campaigns and Services Officer, was removed last year along with the Communications Officer, but the workload hasn't, and I've been speaking to a couple of first years over the last week or two, and I've been, hey, did you guys know about the campaigns that were happening? And they were, what? And they weren't aware that they were going on at all. I was like, oh, did you not see the road signs out? No, we didn't. I just feel that if the job is there, if the campaigns are still going to be run, that they should be run properly, and I feel that there are a large number of students in UL who are willing to put time towards it, but I also had this other idea in terms of working with the co-op office and the Kenny Business School. I spoke to the head of the Department of Enterprise, and she seemed really enthusiastic about the idea of working with both the SU and the co-op office to facilitate a module for students who don't get co-op for whatever reason. They potentially work in groups and organise a campaign between them every 2 to 4 weeks and maybe write a project on it, and it'd be a lot better for them in terms of the skills they get for potential employers. Like, they'd be working on project management and advertising, marketing, and just overall it would just be, it's a good idea, and they're very enthusiastic about it.
So in your manifesto you talk about a fab lab. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, the idea came from, I'm living with an alumni from the university, and he's over and back to the UK, and he's working on this course at the moment, and he's absolutely mad about it. And he comes home and he's wired and he's filling me in it, and it just sounds absolutely fantastic. The idea behind a fabrication laboratory is that it involves the likes of 3D printing and 3D scanners and 3D milling, and it can be used to produce absolutely anything. It's quite new at the moment. It's quite big in France and the Netherlands and the US, and I think Germany is quite big as well. It's kicking off in the UK now, and there's 1 or 2 in Belfast and Derry. I think it would be a fantastic opportunity for somewhere like UL in terms of employment and education. I know I spoke to a product design student who said that the UL were looking at getting a massive state-of-the-art 3D printer in the coming years, but he also said he doesn't think any student will ever get to use it because of the price and the standard. What I was proposing was to look at some of the smaller machinery in and around, I think it's 5 to 10 grand. Like, let's get a couple of the smaller machines and work on building it over the few years. And I think that would be a fantastic opportunity for us, as at the moment there are 16 jobs advertised online in the Limerick area looking for immediate prototype developers. So if we had engineers and architects and product design students working with this kind of machinery, it would automatically improve the standard of education and aid them in their employment perspectives. And I think it would also help reduce the workload for the guys in the workshop in the main building there.
You talk in your manifesto as well about communications. I think it's been a really big issue this year. You've alluded to it previously, but could you tell us a little bit more about what you say in your manifesto on it?
Well, my personal issue with communication is that I have emailed people in this college in the past, and I've been waiting sometimes over a week for a response, and you're sitting there and you're twiddling your thumbs and you're wondering, did they get the email, and you might send it again, or you've just wasted a couple of days wondering. Whereas what I was proposing is let's investigate if we could build something like an app that would work, as in not just a delivery report, but I have read this and it has been ranked on a 1 to 5 scale of priority, and you will receive your reply in X amount of time. I think that would help a lot of students be like, okay, well, at least it's been read, and if I haven't gotten my reply by then, I can go back again. And like maybe the app would send a reminder to the lecturer, being like, you said you'd reply by this time. And I think that maybe the students in the IT courses could look into this. I think it could be applied, if it was investigated properly, applied somewhere like clubs and societies first, to see if it's successful, and if it is, then looking at applying it in the union, and if it works there, maybe apply it more wide scale in the college.
Your point about the library, I think it's a huge issue around final weeks. There's Wi-Fi problems, printing problems. What do you propose to do about that?
The library, I went in actually last week and I spoke with Martin downstairs in the ITD department, and he was saying that they installed 20 new access points last year, and I found that the internet is better than previous years in UL, but he also said that they cannot possibly install any more. He said that the connection cables, network cables on the tables there's all supposed to be in working order. I've never personally managed to get one in working order. But what I would like to do in the library is, maybe regular maintenance checks on those. There was also, they said the main issue in regards to the usage in the library is YouTube. They said there is the possibility of maybe just around exam weeks, like obviously not for the rest of the year, but just around maybe exam and study weeks, when there's a lot of people in there and there's a lot of people stressed, maybe putting a short-term block on something like YouTube, which is the biggest problem. They said that's what's slowing down the network the most. They said if it comes from the student body, they will definitely do it, but it's definitely something that could be discussed. I know there's a lot of students in there who would like to go into the library and know that the internet's going to work for them.
So, one thing I wanted to ask everybody is what they thought of how the referendum campaign was run this year. What do you think?
I think it brings us back to communication. I felt that there wasn't, there was obviously a lot of websites set up, but I didn't think, in terms of the union, I didn't think there was a lot of communication there. As in, I know the first time the referendum was supposed to happen, there was one email sent out about the day before, and then it was, no one knows about this, okay, we'll do it next week. And then the clubs and societies made a big push for it. I think then that there was a lot of people kind of pushing for it, and they weren't 100% sure on all of the information. And while it was all available out there, I just felt that was...
Would you run it again next year?
I would be interested in discussing it again. I think that I found that the idea of the student centre was a bit unrealistic. There was some stuff in there that definitely wasn't necessary, in my opinion.
Like which things would you think were unnecessary?
I didn't think the massive stage concert area was fully necessary, but I think it's definitely worth revisiting. And the idea of the arena extension as well, I would love to see that at some stage in the near future. But I would also love to see more power to the students in terms of that. Like, if there is a sprung floor put in for the trampolining and gymnastics club, I think that they should be entitled to the most hours, that kind of thing. And Maguire's pitch is a major thing.
So is there anything you'd like to say before we finish up?
No, just check out the website and check out the Facebook page and see what I'm all about. And I think I bring some new ideas and I bring up some old points, and I'm all about the little things that are often overlooked in these kind of campaigns. People seem to be really excited about the prospect of something like maybe a burqa boiler in the main building for students in there late at night. So yeah.
Great. Okay. So thanks a million for coming in.
Great. Thanks a million.